everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Learn. I'm Eva.
And I'm Mark. So great to have you here with us today.
You know, Mark, I've been thinking about something. A lot of our learners tell us they can understand English grammar, they know vocabulary, but when it comes to talking about their own life in English, they freeze. They just don't know where to start.
Oh, absolutely, Eva. And you know what the most common question is? How do I talk about my day? It sounds so simple, right? But when you're actually trying to speak, suddenly your mind goes blank.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Today, we're not going to teach you grammar rules or give you lists of words. We're going to teach you how real English speakers actually talk about their daily life, not textbook English, real English.
That's right. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to confidently describe what you do from morning until night using natural phrases that native speakers use every single day. You'll sound fluent, not robotic.
So if you've ever struggled to answer simple questions like, "What did you do today?" or "Tell me about your morning," this lesson is for you. Mark, let's start by talking about why this is actually harder than people think.
You know, Eva, there's a big difference between knowing words and knowing how to use them naturally. For example, a student might know the word wake up, but do they know how real speakers actually talk about waking up? Probably not.
Right. So let me give you an example. A beginner might say, "I wake up at 7," and that's correct, but it sounds a bit stiff, a bit unnatural. A confident English speaker might say, "I usually get up around 7," or "I'm up by 7 most days."
See the difference? It's the same meaning, but the feeling is completely different. One sounds like you're reading from a textbook, the other sounds like you're having a real conversation.
And that's exactly what we're going to focus on today. We're going to take the basic activities everyone does, like waking up, eating breakfast, going to work, and we're going to teach you the natural, relaxed way to talk about them.
Because here's the secret. When you speak naturally, people listen better, they trust you more, and you feel more confident. It's not about perfect grammar, it's about sounding real.
All right, let's jump into the morning. Now, most English courses will teach you, "I wake up." But in real conversation, we have so many other ways to express this. Listen carefully. I get up early. That's very common. Not I wake up early, but I get up early.
Exactly. Or you might hear someone say, "I'm an early riser." That means you naturally wake up early without much effort. So if someone asks you, "Are you a morning person?" you can say, "Yeah, I'm an early riser. I'm up by 6 every day."
Now let's practice that. Repeat after me slowly. I'm an early riser. One more time. I'm an early riser. Good. Now here's another one. I hit the snooze button. This is super common. It means you press the button to get a few more minutes of sleep.
Yes, so in conversation, you might say, "I'm terrible in the mornings. I always hit the snooze button at least 3 times." That's very natural English.
Now after you get up, what's the next thing you do? Usually you go to the bathroom, right? But we don't say, "I go to the bathroom and wash." We say, "I freshen up." That's the phrase, I freshen up.
Let me use it in a sentence. After I get up, I freshen up, and then I grab a quick coffee. Notice I said grab a quick coffee, not make coffee. Grab makes it sound fast and casual.
Exactly. And this is so important. Instead of saying, "I make breakfast," which is fine, you can say, "I throw together some breakfast," or "I fix myself something quick." These sound much more natural.
Right, so let's put it all together. Listen to this. I'm usually up by 6:30. I freshen up, throw together some toast and eggs, and I'm out the door by 7:30. That's how a native speaker might describe their morning.
Did you hear how smooth that was? No stiff sentences, no robot English, just natural flow. Now, Mark, what about people who don't eat breakfast? How do they talk about that?
Good question. You might say, "I skip breakfast," or "I'm not much of a breakfast person." Very common phrases. So someone might say, "I usually skip breakfast and just grab coffee on my way to work."
Perfect. Now, I want you listening right now to pause for a second and think, how would you describe your morning in English using these phrases? Try to say it out loud. Don't worry if it's not perfect, just practice.
All right, Eva, let's move into the middle of the day. This is where a lot of learners struggle because they're trying to describe work, tasks, meetings, all of that, and they end up sounding very formal or unnatural.
Absolutely. So let's start with talking about work or study. Instead of saying, I go to work, native speakers often say, I head to work or I head into the office. Head is a very common verb for movement.
Right, so you might say, I head to the office around 8, or I head to class every morning at 9. It's casual and natural.
Now, once you're at work or school, how do you talk about your tasks? A lot of students say, I do my work. And again, that's correct, but it's boring. Instead, try saying, I get through my tasks or I tackle my projects.
Yes, tackle is great. It means you're dealing with something challenging. So you could say, I spend the morning tackling emails, or I tackle my assignments one by one.
Now, here's a phrase that native speakers use all the time. I'm swamped. This means you're extremely busy. So if someone asks, how's work going? You can say, oh man, I'm swamped this week.
That's perfect. And here's another one. I'm tied up. This means you're busy with something and can't do anything else. For example, sorry, I'm tied up in a meeting right now. Can we talk later?
These little phrases make such a big difference. Now, let's talk about breaks. We don't say, I take a rest. We say, I take a break or I step away for a bit.
Right. So in conversation, you might say, I usually take a quick break around 11 to grab some tea, or I step away from my desk to clear my head.
Notice how natural that sounds? You're not just translating from your language word for word. You're using the phrases that English speakers actually use.
Now, Eva, what about lunch? Because that's another moment in the day where learners often sound too formal.
Good point. Instead of I eat lunch, say I grab lunch or I have lunch. But grab is more casual. So you might say, I usually grab lunch with my coworkers around noon. And here's something interesting. Native speakers rarely say, I eat a meal. They say, I have a meal, or they name the food directly, like, I had a sandwich, or I grabbed the salad.
Exactly. So putting it together, here's how you might describe your afternoon. After lunch, I tackle the biggest tasks. I'm usually pretty swamped until around 4. Then I wrap things up and head home.
Did you catch that phrase, wrap things up? That means to finish your work. Super common. I wrap up my work around 5, or let me just wrap this up and I'll be with you.
These are the kinds of phrases that make you sound fluent, not complicated grammar, just the right expressions at the right time.
All right, Mark, let's move into the evening. This is when people relax, spend time with family, maybe watch something or read. And again, there are natural ways to talk about all of this.
Absolutely. So first, getting home. We don't say, I arrive at home. We say, I get home, or I make it home. For example, I usually get home around 6, or I make it home just in time for dinner.
Perfect. And once you're home, what do? A lot of learners say, I rest, but we usually say, I unwind or I chill out. Unwind means to relax after a stressful day.
Right. So you might say, after work, I just want to unwind with a good book. Or I chill out and watch some TV.
Now, dinner time. Instead of I make dinner, you can say I whip up dinner or I fix dinner. Whip up means to make something quickly. So I usually whip up something simple for dinner, like pasta or a stir fry.
And here's a very common phrase, I order in. That means you order food to be delivered to your home. So someone might say, I'm too tired to cook tonight. Let's just order in.
Exactly. Or we ordered pizza last night. Very natural. Now, after dinner, this is when people have their own routines. Some people clean up, some people relax, some people spend time with family.
Right. So you might say, after dinner, I catch up with my family. Or I catch up on my favorite show. Catch up is super useful. It means to spend time doing something you enjoy, or reconnecting with someone.
Yes. So I catch up with friends means you talk to them. I catch up on emails means you go through emails you missed. I catch up on Netflix means you watch shows you haven't seen yet.
Such a versatile phrase. Now let's talk about bedtime. We don't say, I prepare to sleep. We say, I get ready for bed, or I wind down.
Right. Wind down is similar to unwind, but it specifically means preparing for sleep. So you might say, I wind down by reading for half an hour before bed.
Or I like to wind down with some music. And then, before you actually sleep, you might say, I call it a night. That means you're ending your day.
Yes. So in conversation, someone might say, it's getting late. I think I'll call it a night. Or I usually call it a night around 10:30.
Let me put together a natural evening description. I usually get home by 6, whip up some dinner, and then I chill out with my family. After that, I wind down with a book and call it a night around 11.
Perfect. That's exactly how a confident speaker would describe their evening. Not stiff, not formal, just natural and conversational.
So, Eva, we've covered a lot today. We talked about morning phrases like I'm an early riser and I freshen up. We talked about daytime expressions like I'm swamped and I tackle my work. And evening phrases like I unwind and I call it a night.
And here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to memorize every single phrase we taught today. What you need to do is start using a few of them in your daily conversations. Pick 2 or 3 that feel natural to you and start practicing.
Exactly, because fluency doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from using what you know confidently and naturally.
So here's your homework. I want you to describe your entire day out loud in English using at least 5 phrases we talked today. Don't write it down. Just speak it. Pretend you're talking to a friend.
And if you make mistakes, that's fine. The more you practice speaking, the more natural these phrases will become. Your brain needs to hear you say them.
Now, before we finish, let me say this. A lot of learners think they need perfect grammar to sound good, but the truth is, native speakers care more about naturalness than perfection. They want to hear you speak like a real person, not like a textbook.
And that's what we're here for, to teach you real English that real people use every single day, not boring textbook English that nobody actually speaks.
So, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure you come back for more episodes of Daily English Learn. We release new lessons every week to help you speak English with confidence.
And remember, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become. So don't wait. Start using these phrases today. Talk to yourself. Talk to your friends. Just keep speaking.
All right, everyone, that's it for today. I'm Eva.
And I'm Mark. Keep learning, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Take care and happy learning.